One shot. Let's begin. Shoku Rondo, or Meal Rondo by Estem. Translated and uploaded by Seldom Scans and Baka Senin. Um, yeah, this is a one shot. It's on hiatus here. Um, this is a seinen, so I'm ready for some very mature themes. I was tired of, the little shonen stuff. I needed a seinen where the first title is Masala Canon. Let's begin, everybody. New series by Esta Mio Rondo. Got a sweet tooth? Are you a spicy file? Do you take the middle path, or are you a fan of the apple and honey combo? Is ready to eat good for you, or will nothing but the princess curry do? Masala Cannon by Eastam. Udon no Anna Golandrina Ippo. Alright. Was there a curry place here? Here? A coupon for you. Please, take it. Uh-huh. Prince, it's me, Yonemoto. You're in the same class at junior high. Wow, it's been ages. How many years has it been? We last got together at our coming of age ceremony when we were 20. This is unexpected. What are you doing here? Running a curry shop. This manga is a work of fiction. It is not related to any real person or organizations. Huh, for real? Is this your place? Yes. Hold on a second. Wait, hold on a second. Isn't this, right, a curry restaurant it is? You gotta be kidding me. Hello, I'm Uji Amit. Why? Because we hated curry. What I hate the most is curry. Oji means prince. Let's see. I was born in Japan, so I can only speak Japanese. I've never been to India. Saying he hates curry while looking like that. Prince? Really? Prince of what? India? Which country's prince are you? Hey, Kato! I got this last name when my mother remarried. I am not royalty. Hmm. Thank you for the introduction. You'll be sitting next to... Wow. Prince of Curry really exists. Curry no Oji-sama. Prince of Curry is a Japanese ready-made curry brand. So the menu for a river outing will be curry. Let's see. No, each group will get together to divide up. Wait, no, is it? No, what? No, each group will get together to divide up the ears to decide who brings what. Yay, curry! What should we have for dessert? Tap tap. What did you vote for? Pork miso soup. Me too. You don't like curry? I hate it. Carrots, onions, potatoes, fork. The ingredients are pretty much the same. You only add some spice in it as extra. What's all the fuss about? Because. Wait, because spices are magical? Says who? My mom. Boys, stop horsing around and help us. The coconut gel is being swept away. I'm soaked right through to my boxers. Wow, give me that scorched rice. Dude, you'll get cancer. My butt hurts. Lol, you've got a stone print on your butt. Prince, wanna sit? Thanks. So, do you also hate Indian curry? I'm sick and tired of all kinds of curry. Curry tastes good because its flavor comes from the mood you eat it in. That's what Kato said all smug. So, what tastes bad is the mood, not the food? The heck's with the mood? Food tastes good because you like it. I totally get that. You don't ask someone who hates peppers why they hate them. If you can't eat something, you can't. There's no reason behind it. Things you dislike are like that. Like, if I want to eat shiitake mushrooms, I just go ahead and eat. Okay, they're eating. So bland. Oop. Have you had lunch? Yeah, I had soba at the station. I was going to ask you to eat before you go, but all I have is curry. You sure you could take your time? Lunchtime's over. I can catch a break. I'll start dinner preparation a little later. I see your business is booming. I'm not there yet. I'm just starting to build my regular customer base. But still, I'm shocked to see you opening a curry shop. Well, me too. What? What's so funny? This is a real life. Even Indians are shocked. Stop. No one remembers that. Catchers for the 1964 TV commercial of S.B. Curry. But why curry? Let's see. You could get a naan at the curry restaurant. You do like your naan. But why? Wait, what I'm asking is what made you open a curry restaurant? Because the girl I like loves curry, you see. Huh? Is she Indian? No, Japanese. She said she went backpacking in India. She knew a lot about India when I hadn't even been there once. I couldn't tell her that I hated curry. I said I'd let her eat the best curry in her life. I was trying hard to impress her. So naive. Shut up! Anyways, I trained at an acquaintance's restaurant. Then your innate skills blossomed or something? Well, that's the bottom line. I'm impressed by how things progress, but it's more impressive how you came to own your own store. But I'm drowning in debt now. Have I ever told you? Before the divorce, my father used to be a cook. I can't remember it clearly. He was a shitty father. He beat me and stuff. But lately, I've been thinking, even though he sucked, maybe my father wasn't a bad man after all. I really don't know how to put it. When I look out at the customers from the kitchen, I see them enjoying their food. Adults and children both go, "Oh, it's hot," but still eat it. Oh, did people like curry that much? Seeing that kinda makes me happy. Maybe my father was also looking at the same view. Come, have a proper meal next time. I'll make you the best curry in the world. I'll come and have a bite of your naan. Hey, Prince, you might be sick and tired of it already, but making curry really becomes you. I totally agree. Let's see. I'm back. Ah, that place is packed at any time of the day. How did it go? Perfect. Oh, did you smoke? I had a guest. Who? Let's see. Oh, did you smoke? I had the guest. Who? A friend from junior high. Now that's unexpected. You never call your friends over. I don't have many to begin with. I happened to run into him in front of the store. Did he eat? No, he hates curry. Ha! He's losing out. I too used to hate curry. Huh? What's new? What? I heard from your mom. No, she didn't. She was sulking. She said she'd already taught you how to cook, and she wasn't great at it. Should I tell her that? Hey, can I ask you something? Why did you hate curry? Hmm. I wonder why. Oh, so you won't tell me? Let's put that aside. I've come up with a new menu. Seriously, though? What was it that made us hate curry? I'd really like to know. There's curry in the pot. Warm it up and eat it. There's also some broccoli in the fridge. Aw. You didn't eat your food, did you? I did. The curry's untouched. Mom, what are you cooking? Curry. Your new dad says he likes this kind of curry. Delicious. I know that you'd be great at making all kinds of curry. Are you full already, Amit? That was probably. It must be our way of showing our protest. Hello. He looks like you. How old are you? I'm 5. I wish you'd also brought your wife. She's at her hometown because her friend's getting married. She left us, the boys, to watch over the house. There, take a seat. What's your son's name? Yuto? Do you like curry, Yuto-kun? Yeah, kinda. Here you go. Children's menu. No spices. This is just curry. This is just curry. Just eat it, okay? No, wait, what? Just eat it, okay? I call it authentic normal curry, made by a true Indian. Yummy! Don't spill it, Yuto. Take it slow. There's more where that came from. Can I also ask for seconds? This is really delicious. I had no idea that curry could taste this good. I wish my former self could eat this. You also make the sauce yourself, right? Of course. Which spices should I use to make curry taste good? Hmm. I use a lot of spices, but I say the key one is love. Said special, masala said 1500, curry 2 flavors. Cheesy! By the way, what does the name of the restaurant mean? Curry ke Rashkumar. Oh, it literally means Prince of Curry. Hmm, interesting. Hmm, I don't know. How do I put this? I like it. I like this one, but I can't help but feel that it was mildly mundane until the very, very end. Where I like the I wish my former self could eat this. And I think this is a pinnacle of a slice of life, right? Like it's very casual, and then until it keeps going further and further. Now, one of the things too that I think is kind of important to recognize here, like acknowledge, is being not part of the majority group, right? And in this case, like this person here, hello, I'm Uji Amit, and I do these relatively blind. I just do like a quick run through to be like that. And if I were to do this again, I would probably re-change the accents and not be quite like that. I do like to, try to practice certain accents and practice my voice acting here. But the fact he was born in like Japan would have the lack of an accent, right? And I think that would add to the overall message of the story, right? Because the stereotype is you see him, right? Like he's Indian, and then it's like, okay, because he is Indian or of Indian ethnicity, that means that he must not belong in Japan, right? He must have an accent. He must do this. He must do that. Um, but this is the difference between like ethnicity, nationality, citizenship, all that stuff. And so in a case like this, if I were to redo this, I would probably just cut the accent and be like, okay, this way we could add to it because this is essentially a tale of like an outsider, um, or somebody who was born almost an outsider, right? Because Japan is ethnically homogenous, more so than anything else. And so, and he's never been to India. It's kind of one of those things where like I could relate in some sense here. America, very, very diverse country, but still, you go and you are the odd man out because it's majority white in very, very many places, the majority of places, right? I'd say. And so when you get there, it's like, all right, well, there's the minor things where it's like, okay, am I speaking Spanish properly? Well, probably not, but it's enough to communicate to get around, which is ultimately what matters. And then, similar to this one, though, it's like, well, what type of food do you like, right? And for this one here, when it comes to the curry, it's like, do I want to go out and eat tacos and beans and rice every day? Mm-mm. No, no. Eventually, you do kind of get tired of it if it's like your ethnic food, right? So that's a thing, and I do like okay, kind of relate to it, but I kind of like the broader meaning of this though, where curry tastes good. I love curry. I love making curry. It's pretty easy. I don't know if I'm familiar with the Prince of brand. I might have the Prince of brand, honestly, curry, but I have some form of curry like in my cabinets. Um, and I think it's interesting to see how the transformation, right? It's like, hey, first you open a curry restaurant for a girl. I've done stupid things too. Not to say that this restaurant's stupid, I've done things for love before. That I'm like, okay, why would you do that? Well, for love, right? Because I kind of, I'm kind of into the thing where if a guy wants to, he really will, and I think this is a good example. He will. And it's interesting to see him kind of position himself in a way to like market a successful business, right? Because India, curry, well, of course he wants an Indian doing that. He's never been to India and people know more than him. It's like, oh, okay, let me go and market myself like this, right? Position yourself in a way that your restaurant will be successful and capitalism, right? Sometimes I pull that card too, and I'm like, well, I'm American, but let's use my Hispanic heritage, my Mexican heritage, in order to bring this to an advantage. And so, as strange as this sound, as I was going through this here, it's like, huh, Prince of Curry, like you could see why he did this, and it's like, Spices are magical, says to my mom. Now, before I get to the more thematic elements, one thing I will kind of criticize of this is that, and this is a common one, when you kind of have speech bubbles with no indication, it's like it's kind of hard for me to tell who speaks some of the time, right? And then like from this, it's like just do a little side arrow here. Um, and I guess it's supposed to be read as like back and forth, like this dialogue here, right? But it would assist me a little bit here to be like, oh, okay, because there are some times where I'm like, wait, who's speaking? Because it might make sense for both people to speak at the time here. Who did you vote for? Pork meat. Me too. You don't like curry? I hate it. Carrots and onions and potatoes and pork. The ingredients are pretty much the same. You only add spices. What's all the extra fuss? What's all the extra fuss about? Like for this one, I think what makes this say I hate it, and this line could also belong to him, or it could be. I didn't think it would be him going back to carrots, onions to here. Spices are magical would be his line. Says who? My mom. Like okay, and that's kind of the thing. It's like just give me a little bit of extra because one of the problems I see with a lot of one shots too is kind of just like how do I put this? I don't think I'm a connoisseur of anything, but the ease of read I think is pretty important for a lot of manga. Like even if it's like long dialogue boxes here, right? Like you go here, it's like okay, this is a little more text, but as long as I could tell who's talking and it kind of flows, that's kind of where it works. And I do wish they would have done more of this here because it's like okay, that's all tangent to who's speaking here. Do you also hate Indian curry? Blah blah blah. Whatever. If you can't eat something you can't, there's no reason behind it. Things you dislike are like whatever. And then the bland food here. Um, Regardless, the dialogue is something that where I was kind of like I don't. It was hard for me to tell at times who was talking, who was speaking. They do things like this here, but that'd be like a bit of constructive thing, which I'm sure this person older style, right? So Um, anyways, we're aside for them. Their art again is an older style. This reminds me of like the art of the Hajime no Ippos, the monsters. It's from a different time, and I kind of like it too because it seems to blend a more like I wouldn't even say realistic, but this was the style of the time. It kind of blends like the almost incomplete style that I kind of like of a lot of series because when a series it's a lot more ragged, it's a lot more rough here. I kind of like the little bit of blending of both here, where like occasionally he does have a more detailed character, but for a lot of these, they don't feel quite as solid. I think is a good way to put it. Right? It feels like there's just a little bit less line work here, a little bit there. Perhaps that's just a matter of the scan quality, but I kind of like the scraggly thing. Now, the one thing that I think did end up making this like really, really worth it from the slice of life too, that I thought was nice, is that it doesn't present many of these things in like a super dramatic fashion, which I really, really like. It's like, hey, is you're just talking about life. Right? My father used to be a cook. I remember he was a shitty father. He beat me and stuff. But lately, I've been thinking he wasn't a bad man after all, right? And I think that in a different setting, maybe more modern, people are like, what? He beat you, da 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 da, and it would kind of be like a little bit more dramatic. But in this case, it's kind of those things where sometimes you have a conversation with a person, and then something vaguely personal comes out, and you just kind of go with it, and it's like, okay, right? And I think that's interesting. It's like it doesn't need to go like, oh no, your dad beat you, da 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 da. Like in fact, the reaction to he's like, oh, my dad beat me, but he made a lot of people happy with his food there. Um, and then he's like, yes, yes, have some food. The other guy doesn't say much. He's like, yes, I'll eat your naan. I'll eat your food. Um, and then just a nice little comment. It doesn't need to be anything extra, right? He doesn't need to say, "Hey, you were the menu major." Like, no, you made curry. I could see the smile on your face. And then his wife comes back, and it's like, okay, this is the person he introduced it to, right? And it's not some sort of big revelation here where he's like, "Well, why did you order?" Well, I did it for love, right? Let's see that line. I think it's a good one here. Let's see what this is. Real life. Even Indians are shocked here because the girl I like loves curry. You see, and I think it's interesting too because he just says the girl he likes. He doesn't even say his wife, doesn't say girlfriend, doesn't say any, just the girl I like. And then to see her kind of appear suddenly, I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm trying hard to impress her, right? I feel that. It makes sense for her to appear like there, but it's not some sort of big revelation here, right? It's like, whoa, okay, she's there. She's just a part of his life here. And I think it's nice. You see that she's pregnant, which again isn't a huge big reveal. It's like, unless she's just a little chubby. If she's a little chubby, that's fair. It's not a big reveal. It's like, oh, okay, this man is building his life, and I kind of like that depth of the slice of life. It's not a big, oh, love of my life here, who I made this for. It's like, huh, okay. Um, and this is, see, like this one too is another thing. Ah, I'm back. This place is packed. How did it go? Perfect. Oh, huh. Did you smoke? I had a guest. Like small things like this, like how did it go? Perfect. And I guess, oh ho, did you smoke? I had a guess it's meant to be read from her, but like because this was the back and forth dialogue, I just thought it was like this person. Oh, a friend from junior high. I don't know, but anyways, that is a story. So I was complimenting this. Ha, he's losing out. I too used to hate curry, and I like this idea of him just being like, ah, I too used to hate curry. It's like, yeah, so what? That's new. Like your mom told me. And I like that, right? It's like one of those things too, where like he thinks he's making a big revelation here, and I like, no, I already knew that. It's this nice little marital stuff here, or maybe they're not married. I don't know, but I do like this like little life things. Um, and then I don't know. This is the thing that I really enjoyed, where it's like, oh, that's why he hated curry because it was just kind of something that represented a little bit of their loneliness. It's like, okay, he's all alone here and he just eats whatever. And at a certain point, he's like, no, I'd rather not, right? And then same thing here. Your new dad says he likes curry. Are you full already? And he probably didn't connect with his new dad like that the same way, and it happens with life, right? It made him feel a little lonely because he's like, ah, you're cooking for him, not for me, right? That's probably, it must be our way of showing our protest. And um, I honestly think this probably would have been better if they got rid of our way of showing protest. I kind of like this scene too, where like you go back here, you go back there, and then you go, that was probably, it must be, and then you could kind of like leave it. I think adding our way of protest, maybe the translation is not our way of showing protest. I get what they mean, but rather than saying protest, it's you could bring them back to this whole atmosphere thing, right? They're like, hey, the spice is the atmosphere. Blah 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 here. Sick and tired of all kinds of curry here. The mood. Food tastes good because you like it, right? The mood you eat it in. I think that's a fair because they were both in like bad moods, right? And it's like, oh, okay. So we get the mood, and because of that, they projected it onto curry, and they just didn't like that. Like, ah, that was probably that was that was probably it must be why curry didn't taste good for us, or something like that, or why something about curry, why that curry was unsatisfying, or whatever, something along those lines. And then I like this too because I don't think they mentioned the kids at first, right? Like what he says here, hey Prince, you're supposed to be sick and tired of it. They just go, they catch up, right? Come on, let's see it. Or this is your place, right? You gotta be kidding me. Yamamoto, 20 here. Hmm. Right? And they don't really mention it. And again, this is another thing that I was like, I was surprised he had a kid. But I liked it too. It's like, okay, he had a kid. It wasn't like, hey, I don't beat my kid, my guy. I don't do this. It was more like, hey, like, or was it this big conversation of fatherhood, which I really, really liked. Where it's not like, hey, your dad should have done that. Like, we're going to be better men than our dads. We're going to do this here. There wasn't some sort of big revelation like, oh, I'll bring my kid to, love or whatever. It was just like, oh, okay, he has a kid. That makes sense. I brought your wife. And again, that also seems like another thing that they would casually do. And it's like, huh, children's menu, no spices. Call it normal, authentic normal curry by truly eating it. And I like the little yummy stuff here. Like, this is really delicious. I had no idea that curry could taste this good. And this is the part where I think it kind of comes together. Because I thought it was a little bit mundane, but I like this. I wish my former self could eat this. And I like that. This is like kind of what I think should be almost the climax of the thing. Although I couldn't understand why to end on this. Like, I wish my former self could eat this. And it's nice because you see now the mood has changed. They're in a positive mood. They're in a happy mood. They're sharing, and this is part of why the curry tastes so good. And I think this could have done well. Or, I mean, it does do well. That's why I was like, oh, wow. Maybe a little emotion on the inside there. Maybe the outside, too. And then, of course, they just go on to make small talk. He's like, one ingredient is love. Cheesy. And I mean, yeah, it took me minutes, but they didn't mean cheese. Curry ke Rajkumar. Prince of Curry. That's nice. So yeah, I think this is an interesting one because it isn't overtly super exciting, right? Compared to what I normally read with the like battles and the action and the depth. This is might be one of the most slice of life things that I have read in a very long time. Where it's like, some other things that are like other stories I read are like, oh, slice of life and romance. How do you confess this? How do you do that? I read that one weird slice of life where it was a person just getting up and moving here. But this, I think, is this is a good example. This is pure slice of life, right? There is no big, super overarching thing here. There is no central conflict here. It's people meeting up, they catch up, and, maybe I'm overlooking this here because, you whenever you're a minority in the country, it's like, oh, yeah, this is part of the experience. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, and we're always combating it in all the social justice lens, right? And making sure that, you manage everything. But it's like, yeah, okay. So you go, you manage how people interpret you, you do your best, you rebel, and maybe that's why it's a little too whatever, because I feel like this is whatever, but it's not like, oh, racism, 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 right? They're not like overtly, because like kids, I don't think, maybe nowadays kids might say this, but I think it's like, oh, it's very mundane. It's just kind of going on about your day, making friends, and then, okay. And then they meet as adults and they just chat a bit. They chat a little bit mildly personal about things here. And it's like, oh, well, there you go. Because I think the author does kind of master how guys talk to each other a bit here. Because again, he just kind of he doesn't even mention the fact that he's married. He's just like, huh, okay, yeah. And then they just go and they're pretty nonchalant about things, and then they end with like a nice little revelation. But I think this is, and I mean this in a very good way. This is one of the best representations of slice of life I have read because it is just a small slice of their life, you know, and you could put this wherever. You could say this happened to anybody the other day, or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, man, this person has a lot of one shots. Quite a few are labeled under erotica too. Damn. Can't read erotica on this YouTube channel. So, but regardless. With all that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for being born, y'all. Peace out.